we have been disconnected from nature. And that is where all the problems started. Like, look at you right now. Like, look at us. We are in this concrete environment. And we wonder why our depression rates are at an all time high. Our anxiety is at an all time high. Our addiction rates is at an all time high. Now, the very simple way to overcome depression, or whenever you're feeling an immense amount of sadness, you're feeling depressed, you're feeling intense anxiousness, nervousness, the best hack that you can do is go get your heart rate up. Just go out there for a run, and you'll feel an immediate decrease in your depression levels, in your sadness levels. And that's why people go work out. And it's a correlation to breath work, because whenever you take immense breaths, like deep breaths in and exhale it out, you feel lightness in you. There's a lightness, you feel the weight being shed off of you, and there's so much research that has been conducted. And that's why you have all these breath work workshops and all this other stuff. But imagine if the quality of your breath could be improved to an all-time high. And that's why you must get yourself out in nature more. If you look at the laws of the nature, if you study the animal kingdom, you see how we are in dissonance with nature. We are in dissonance with the laws of nature. If you look at the animal kingdom, when life gets hard, when life gets too stressful, they don't go out there, distract themselves by taking in intense amount of stimulants on a regular basis. When life gets hard, tigers, lions, all these birds, they don't go consume alcohol, they don't go consume drugs just to feel good. When we are not following the laws of nature, problems start to arise. And if you look at nature, everything is in moderation. Overconsumption is not a problem when it comes to being in nature. You look at the animals, none of these animals overconsume in anything. They don't have overconsumption of anything, because making love is good, mating is good, but these animals don't get overindulged in mating. There is a mating season. That's what they call mating season. They do things in accordance to nature. They do things in accordance to seasons. And that's how, nature flourishes. And we kind of overindulge in everything. And that is why we have so much problems. Overindulgence in lovemaking, overindulgence in hunger, because anything done in extremes can be bad for you. Now, before you go out there, taking all these insane stimulants, insane amount of drugs, you're snorting cocaine to overcome depression, why don't you just try going out for a run in the park, going out for a run in nature? Because when you are in nature, you feel balanced. Now, I'm going to get a little more esoteric here. When you are in nature, it balances your root chakra. Now, your root chakra, or the chakra system, is just energy points in the human body. So there are 7 chakras that correlates to 7 energy points in the human body. Now, the root chakra is the first chakra located at the base of your spine, and this is responsible in making you feel safe, making you feel grounded. And whenever this chakra is out of balance, whenever there is an imbalance in the root chakra, you feel immense amount of fear, anxiety, depression. Now, the first 3 chakras, the root chakra, the sacral chakra, and the solar plexus, the 3 energy points, one is located at the base of your spine. The sacral chakra is located right above the base of the spine, below your stomach, and the solar plexus chakra is located right below your diaphragm. Now, these 3 chakras are responsible for your survival as a species. When you're experiencing lower vibrational emotions, it is basically you being in survival mode for the survival of the organism. And that's why I mentioned in my previous videos that you must not eliminate all these lower vibrational emotions, because they are essential for your survival. You must not eliminate anger. You must not get rid of shame, guilt, of this hatredness, of jealousy. These are essential emotions that help you survive in the wild. Now, of course, we are not living in the wild. We are living in modern cities with the modern infrastructures, but still you need these emotions to survive as a being. And when these bottom chakras or the first three chakras are actually balanced, you are in this amazing space where you are not triggered by external substances. You're not getting triggered. You're not getting overly emotional. Everything is in balance. Everything just functions perfectly. You don't see the lion or the tiger throwing tantrums unnecessarily. When the lion goes for hunting, it's angry, it goes hunts its food, it eats, then it's fine. But we as humans, we have this anger. We have with that then turns into vengeance. That then turns into chaos. We have not balanced our emotions, and that is why we are stuck in this survival mode. Many of you are stuck in this lower vibrational state of survival mode, emotions, experiencing it, living it, and thriving in it on a regular basis because you have not balanced out these emotions. And just by being out there in nature, it's a very quick hack, a quick way to balance these bottom chakras. Because only when these bottom chakras are balanced, only when you have let go of these lower vibrational emotions, it'll be much easier for you to transcend the higher vibrational state and start living, thriving, and embodying this higher vibrational emotion. So, when we are in nature, right, you get a better quality of air. I mean, it's obvious. Just use your common sense. Like, whenever you're out in nature, you're less sad, you are less depressed, you are less anxious, you are less nervous. I mean, I'm going to reference the Bible here because in the Bible, there's a mention that Adam and Eve ate the forbidden fruit and they were banished from heaven. It's like it did not happen overnight. My analogy is, nature doesn't disappear overnight. Shit doesn't happen overnight. It slowly fades away. And if you look at nature, right, take a picture of you next to a water reservoir maybe a month ago, and then take a picture now, you wouldn't see much of a difference. But if you took a picture of a water body, a freshwater body, now, and then if you looked at the pictures 10 years ago, 20 years ago, you would see a major difference. It's like a life is fading away. This, the whole thing you see right here, this is creation. This is the epitome of creation. There's abundance of sky, there's abundance of water, there's abundance of air, oxygen, there's abundance of beauty in nature. And when we are restricting ourselves from experiencing this beauty, and we are looking for beauty and love in all the wrong places, and we are consuming all these external things, we are consuming all these stimulants to please us, make us happy, it's because we are not connected here. When you are connected to nature, if you're following the laws of nature, you wouldn't be dependent on stimulants. You wouldn't be dependent on cocaine to get you feel something. You wouldn't be dependent on all these drugs to make you feel good. It's like spend 3 days in nature. Just 3 days. Take time off, spend 3 days in nature. Run, work out, run in nature, do some breath work. Just live here without consuming this, social media crap that goes on. Because you're consuming. You're rotting your brain. And it's not even great content. It's like 10 seconds of brain rot. People using words like skibbity, riz. And I mean, it's cool and stuff. It sounds funny to me, but if you're consuming that on a regular basis, you are rotting your brain. You know what I mean. You know what I'm talking about. So I did this experiment where I spent 3 days in nature. And then I walked back in the city center. It's like I was on drugs. Like literally, there's so much stimulation. Like just 3 days, I cut myself off from all these, basic infrastructure, vehicles, population stuff. I self-isolated myself. And all I surrounded myself was nature, trees, lakes, gardens, and I went to this amazing park. It's this national park where I stayed there for 2 nights, and it was so weird. It's a weird experience, and I felt so calm. I felt so, just at peace. That's how I can put it. And when I just left that place and visited the city center, I just entered the city center, and it felt like I was on drugs, like literal, too much stimulation. Everything, it was like it was going crazy. And I realized, like, this is where the stress starts from. And for you to, overcome the stress, to manage the stress, you must constantly ground yourself. And what I mean by grounding yourself is not just shooting up some drugs, you know, once in a while. It's not smoking some weed. You can just be out here in nature, work out, take in that fresh air. This is healing. And the more time you spend in nature, the more you follow the laws of the nature, the better you become at managing the stress that comes with a regular life in all these chaotic environments. And it's a goal of mine, to surround myself in nature. Like in the future, I would have a getaway place where just want to go out there and live and visit the main city, probably twice a week or 3, 4 times in a month. Because I believe that peaceful living comes from going off grid. Because when you are, in this chaotic place of getting too much stimulation from the outside world, you are rotting your brain. You're essentially lowering your vibrational state, and it's not really good for you in the long run. And I have experienced it firsthand. And whenever I'm in nature, I feel more at ease. And it helps me to handle the chaos that I experience in this infrastructure, in this chaotic world outside. So that's the most key takeaway from this video. The key takeaway from this video is, if you are feeling depressed, if you are feeling anxious, if you feel intense emotions on a regular basis, or if you're just letting go of your lower vibrational emotions, and if you're trying to elevate your consciousness, raise your vibrational state, raise your consciousness as a whole being, instead of doing all these techniques, sitting in a confined space, instead of shooting up drugs, instead of overconsumption, why don't you just self-isolate? Why don't you just put yourself off grid to a place that actually supports the human organism, the place that actually supports, that actually, complements the human being or living body? This complements our living body. You shooting up drugs inside your hotel room does not complement your human body. How is it healing? It'll give you a sense of high. It'll make you feel good for that split second or maybe a couple of hours if you're on insane drugs. But being in nature, you have this eternal bliss. It's actually healing. And when you follow the laws of nature without being overindulgent in any of the things, I mean, hunger is good, food is satisfying, making love is satisfying, it's good. But when you overindulge in these activities, that's when things start to go downhill. When you consume too much food, you know the feeling. And even when you make too much love, as much as I love making, making too much love on a regular basis, mating every single hour of the day, is not healthy. And just study the animal kingdom. And once we start following the laws of nature, it's like 80% of the problems just fade away. And if you look at nature, nature did not disappear in a single night. It's slowly fading away. All this water body, these green trees are slowly fading away. And one day it'll cease to exist. Like currently, right now, I have this luxury of being in nature. I don't know, like in 50, 100 years, if this will be here or not. Because I know it's slowly fading away. How many animals are getting extinct? How many, green spaces are being condensed, reduced year by year? Enjoy this while it lasts, because that's all I can say. In the future, it'll be just you living in some concrete space with AI machines all around. I mean, I don't really know if these green spaces will exist in the future, because this may be the last one of them left in a few years from now. So enjoy this while it lasts. And if you're watching this video like right now, or even 2, 3 years from now, just make sure you get the most out of these green spaces, this nature, that you can while it's still there, because when it's gone, and it's never coming back.